Hi, I'm Rick Taylor with Touchbase Counseling in Lone Tree, Colorado. Today's video is about how you get stress, anxiety, and depression. I'm going to focus mostly on the mechanics of how we all have a system for managing stress. Okay, so there's this guy. He seems pretty stressed out, right? Who knows why? But let's just say we could get into his head and measure his level of stress. We could use an instrument like a round meter. It starts at 1 and goes up to 8. And this meter measures the intensity of your stress. Now, some people idle at 1 or even 0. Some people idle higher at 3 or 4. And we all have our limits for stress, right? Let's just say that reaching 8 in your stress level is when you start to lose it. What's the source of your stress? Here are a few examples. Career issues, relationship issues, health issues, new or changing circumstances, relying on other people who are not following through. And as your meter for stress goes up, the stress bucket starts to fill up. Those 8 notches on each bucket line up with the numbers on the meter. As stress continues to increase, there is less ability to fight off illnesses. There are digestive issues, along with headaches and fatigue. Many people start to experience trouble sleeping, and some also see changes in their levels of sexual interest. These symptoms don't occur in sequence, and some occur more intensely than others. But when they are intense enough and flow over to the anxiety bucket, it's as though the fight or flight mechanism has been triggered. After that, we start to have thoughts like, I need to do something about this. I can't just sit around. And new symptoms emerge as we flow into the anxiety bucket. The lower level of the anxiety bucket is when you start to worry. And I don't mean worry like wimpy worry. I mean hardcore, constant worry and concern. This affects the quality of your sleep, and when sleep becomes a real problem, you start to feel it in your body. Weird pains start to show up in your neck and back. Also, your interactions with other people become more tense as you try to exert some kind of control over what's happening around you. When anxiety becomes too intense, the symptoms will overflow into the depression bucket. Your future begins to look like it's going to be more of the same bad stuff. So what's the point? Your sleep patterns become more erratic with bouts of insomnia and dead tired sleeping. You begin to isolate from others, and your interactions with others become unpredictable and deepening with mood swings. When this goes on for a while, it seems like when you're in the middle of it, it will never end, and death can actually seem like a better option than dealing with it all. Now, depression is not its own isolated experience, but it's part of this system that starts with stress and increases into anxiety. Also, depression is not permanent. We may experience symptoms, then our thoughts become distracted, and we find ourselves back in anxiety. There's this ebb and flow. So how far does your stress take you? Do you peak a couple of times a month with bouts of depression? And some of those have been pretty severe? Or do you stay constantly at the lower level of anxiety, experiencing intense anger and a lot of worry? So having a model like this can help you start to recognize the patterns of your symptoms. This kind of self-awareness is the beginning of really starting to recover. I want to help you learn how to keep your stress buckets in check so you can have better relationships and enjoy life at work and at home. I'm Rick Taylor with Touchbase Counseling, where I work with men and couples.